Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I am Prime Time 000, joined by Matt and Dan. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, man.
I received death threats not to record this, but here I am.
I respect Matt doing what's best for the league. We're going to go into topic one right away. Season 80 is over. We're at season 81, but let's reminisce on the season that was. Recap. Matt, what do you think about season 80?
Yeah, I think it was chalk. Obviously, you ran through the NFC. I think Dan will probably say something very similar. Just absolutely disgusting watching the NFC's game plan against you. It's like they've never played you. I don't know if it's a fear thing, if they don't know how to play any other way than the same way they always. I don't understand what the NFC is doing, so I have nothing to say. Nobody put up any resistance. It's just bleh. AFC, I know they like to push their chests out that they're better, blah, blah, blah. They're deeper, sort of, but it's still the Dan and Bomber show as opposed to just the Prime show. And we saw that. They met again, had a great game. Bomber came out on top. I do think the AFC has a little bit of a dark horse there in QP, who we'll talk about here shortly, I'm sure. But I don't really have much to say. It went exactly how I thought it was going to go. You got your revenge on Bomber. I think the previous Super Bowl was a fluke. Not that Bomber won. Bomber very easily could have beat you last season. I'm not taking anything away from Bomber. The way in which he beat you, though, we knew that wasn't going to happen again. So, great season. I enjoyed it. Some really high caliber playoff matchups. Playoffs always deliver in the SML. So that's my recap.
Dan?
Yeah, I actually think it was kind of boring because of all the chalk that took place. Now, I want to give Prime credit. I didn't know if he could do it without Gibbs. That's a great accomplishment. He deserves every praise for that. NFC, I just don't get it. We are 6 seasons in, and it just feels like the first time you're playing Prime. Now Damon played him better. No, give Damon credit. He played him better. That game was a little bit closer. That was probably the closest game he's had in a while. But just watching Dump, I mean, it was just, I've never seen anyone be more clueless when it comes to defense. It was actually frustrating watching it. So I don't know what's going on there. AFC side, me and Bomber, I think right now are probably a little bit above everyone else. That game comes down to one mistake or two mistakes. Whoever makes it will probably lose. But, as we'll talk here in a second, I do think the AFC intrigue on that side a little bit is just, it's not even playoff games. It's just who's going to make the playoffs, because last year both Q and KP missed the playoffs. So are those guys going to rise up? So that's the little bit of intrigue there. But as far as the playoffs, to me, it was one of the more boring ones because everyone won who we thought would win. And it just was just kind of boring, kind of like the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, for me, obviously winning without Gibbs was fun. I enjoyed doing that. I guess when I look back at this season, a lot of people will say that the AFC is better, and it probably is a little bit deeper. But what I think we could see is if Prime is 1, Dan and Bomber are 2 and 3, you could almost argue that 4 would be Damon, a top 5 player in the SML right now. And from there, maybe somebody like Stavo could be 5. So when you look at the league as a whole and you look at the recap of the season on some of the performances by the players, it was interesting. I think Dump kind of had his coming out party last season. KP missed again, the playoffs again, and we'll talk about that in a second here. But for me, it's going to be really interesting to see. We're in that kind of last third stretch now to make that push for top 10 players of the cycle, top 5 player of the cycle, the bragging rights. Who's going to actually step up and do something about it? I know the Tugs of the world, the Raider fans of the world. Raider fan, I think, gave Dan a good game. So it's just going to be fun to see. But I'm happy with how the season turned out. Obviously, we're Super Bowl champ again for this cycle. Feels good. But we're back on now season 81, where we're going to talk about in topic 2, which P will rise, QP or KP? Both men are kind of proven they can win a lot of games at one point in their SML career. They're both missed the playoffs multiple times now, I think, this cycle. Dan, we'll start with you. Which P will rise?
Well, first off, I gotta say, that's absolutely crazy that you just said that Damon and Stava would be 4-5 when you have KP who's won a Super Bowl. You have our Raider fan who's made it to a Super Bowl. Neither Stava or Damon have any signature win in the NFC. So let's just back that.
When I say 4 and 5, I'm not saying in terms of cycle greatness. I'm talking about right now in terms of how they're playing. I mean, KP
Stavo can't win a playoff game. When was the last time Stavo won a playoff game?
He just won one within the last 2 seasons or 3 seasons, I believe. When was the last time KP won a playoff game?
It was like 3 seasons ago.
What about KP?
3 seasons ago. Yeah, I agree with you. But at least he's done something. Like KP beat you, so Stavo hasn't beaten you, so Stavo's got to be ahead of that. That's just nonsense. Anyways, let's move on.
KP can't make the playoffs. He sucks with the Colts.
Well, I'm glad you finally came to my side on that. Anyways, so it's QP, and here's what it is. Now, listen, I know the allegations are going to come, and I can't defend the fact that he had a 4-win season. Okay, that's beyond defendable right now.
Uh-huh.
But this is what I'll say. This is what I'm going to say. QP didn't go from 12 wins to 4 wins. Okay, he went from mid-year 8 wins to 4 wins. QP was not playing well. For 2.5 seasons, he has not played well. All you had to do on QP, and everyone in the league knew it, was set your yellows to 5 because he would not look beyond that. His offense week 1 of this season was horrendous. I threw 2 picks, bad picks. I missed 2 field goals, and I still lost on a 4th and goal at the 1. Okay? He threw for 95 yards. We had a heart-to-heart after that. We talked about it. We pushed him to open up that offense. If QP opens up that offense and plays the same defense he's playing, he'll be right back up there with Bomber and myself. And the 1 seed will matter because you don't want to play QP in the second round, or you don't want to play Bomber in the second round. So the 1 seed is going to be matters because it's QP. KP is who KP is. He's not going to be any different than what he's been.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Anyways, KP, my sources are telling me he's very down on himself, disappointed in his cycle. He took a Colts team that he touted as one of the best in the league. I disagreed with that. I think what he's done with them is phenomenal. I think winning one Super Bowl with the Colts is a fantastic cycle. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is winning more than one with the Colts roster. So good job, KP. So I don't think he has to rise, and he won't. QP is going to rise because he intentionally fell. Again, 4 wins, I don't care. I don't care that he only won 4 games. It's the evidence, right? QP's not a 4-win player. We all know that. It's not possible. He got a little pouty with his suspension of Barton and wanted to prove a little bit of a point. So let's talk about it. I'm not a person that likes to look at 4 wins and say someone's tanking because there's a lot more behind the scenes. But week 17 against Fig. QP's up 24-13. It's 4th down from Fig's own 30 with 5 minutes left from his own 30. And 2-score lead, and it's Fig. The guy loves 2 things: drinking beer and throwing interceptions. Just sit back, the clock is your friend, and let him throw a pick. What does QP do? He 0 blitzes.
Gustavo.
Users the safety, gives up a 2-yard tight end drag that goes 70 yards for a touchdown. Okay, now we've got a 1-score game. Fig doesn't get the 2-point because, of course, he doesn't. QP gets the ball, boom, 1 play because it's Fig, 77-yard touchdown run. Okay, so we're right back where we started. Now there's 4.5 minutes left. Okay, the next drive, man defense, user the safety. Next play, man defense, user the safety down. 3rd down, man defense, user the safety. Okay. If you go back and watch how QP plays, when he plays man, he does user the safety, whether it's a playoff game, whether he was winning 11 games or 4. There's nothing too odd about that, but we'll get to that later. Another man defense user the safety. Okay, we all know man is not good. Dan even said he doesn't even use it. It's like 85-90% zone. He uses it as a tendency breaker. Why not just sit? The only thing that can hurt you here is a big play, and you're only going to give up the big play in man. So Fig's just throwing what beats man, right? Drags, crossers, blah, blah, blah. 3 minutes left. Fig's on his own 40-yard line. QP still got this big lead, okay? 0 blitz again and a big gain. Huge gain. Then he does another cover 2 blitz. He he hard flats. He uses the middle and the safety, or uses the safety in the middle and leaves the middle wide open. Fig completes a pass to the 2. 3rd and goal, man defense again. Keep an eye on the man defense. 1 minute left. Fig is on his own 30. It's a 1-score game now. 25 seconds left. Fig's on his own 45. QP audibles to cover 2. He manually hard flats the clouds and leaves the corner wide open. With 25 seconds left, with your opponent on his own 45, why are you hard flatting? I know he likes the outs, but give it to him, okay? So that's what he did. He just gave Fig the game. I went back 2 seasons when QP was good. He was up 6 late on Eddie with 6 minutes left, all zone. He was up 6 versus Fig 2 seasons ago, 3 minutes left, all zone. Up 1 versus Fig in that game with 1:16 left, all zone until the final play of the drive, where he runs his safety out of the play to give up a score. Now he's up 1 with 1:16 left. What do you want your opponent to do in that situation? You want them to score. So I do think that he intentionally gave up a touchdown there, and Fig didn't know any better. He just scored, and so he got the ball back, okay, instead of losing by a field goal. So against Fig, he played man the whole time, except for that manually hard flatting the one time, which made no sense. But in his other games where he had winning seasons and he was in those positions where he was winning, he was all zone. He tanked the game. It's not a poly smoking gun. Maybe Bomber will do a conspiracy episode and do a totality of the season or something. I don't think he tanked the entire season, but I think once he got suspended, he pouted. There was no incentive to win. Now he did beat Tug week 18 after he got called out, but the evidence is out there.
Well put together, Matt. The thing that shocked me, I never looked into it, but QP pouting is surprising. I've never heard of that. But when I look at QP and KP, let me address KP first. What an embarrassing cycle. What an embarrassing cycle for KP. And I was on his side when he took the Colts. That's my team. But he's now missed the playoffs with the Colts more this cycle than I ever have in 8 or 9 years when I've used them. He won a Super Bowl, and what I'm going to say is the luckiest Super Bowl run in SML history. His first game, I think he played QP, his first season back. He got a win over Dan, I believe it was, as well, and in a kind of a fluky game, in my opinion. And then in the Super Bowl, I'm up 2 scores. He returns a kickoff where he's bouncing around, picks the wrong thing. He throws a pick on a drag route that didn't happen. Just a lot of stuff happened in that playoff run that shouldn't have happened. And now here we are. And I didn't think I was going to say this, and I hate even saying it, but I got Dan over him in cycle rankings, even though he's got a Lombardi trophy. All because his cycle is now becoming one fluke season. Lightning could strike once, but it never strikes in the same spot twice. And we're seeing that with KP, unfortunately. Before the cycle, he was talking up the Colts, and now this is probably his worst cycle he's had in his SML career. For QP, I do believe that last season he didn't give his best effort at times. I do believe that he has the potential to rise up and win games. And I know Dan's talking about QP's offense and how he needs to open it up. Look in chat, fellas, from 2-3 seasons ago, who's been saying it first. I said QP needs to throw it down the field more. Lay your throws. Use your speed. You've got Xavier Worthy. Blah, blah, blah. He didn't listen. He was being a smart aleck. Now, at least he's probably going to listen to Dan, and he's going to get better because of it, I hope. At the end of the day, I don't think that QP is capable of throwing it down the field anymore, though. He's not that player. He was 4 years ago. Now he doesn't have set feet lead anymore. Even last cycle when he had Justin Herbert, who I believe has set feet lead, he became a runner out of the pistol. Those days of QP being the dynamic player with the swag and the Hollister cologne that he used to wear are gone. That QP is dead. He's not Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars Episode 3. He's a shadow of himself. I think he could still win, but these new era of SML players, they're the Jackson Storms, and he's Cars 3 Lightning McQueen. He's just not, he doesn't put any fear in people anymore. He's a guy that kind of has an attitude to these guys. He's Terrell Owens in his on the Buffalo Bills at the end of his career. I mean, he just doesn't strike fear in anybody anymore, except for maybe some OGs who remember who he once was. But if they know who he is today, they can take him out easily. I mean, that's just the truth on QP. And until he can score in bunches and show his offense is dynamic, that's my opinion is not going to change.
Those are some pretty good references. I got to give you credit. Good references.
Thank you. It took a lot out of me to do that. Topic 3. Let's talk about the speed boost thing. We talked about this a little bit on my show Prime Time, but I think it's worthy of bringing up again here on the show. And Matt, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts on the speed boosting with the players, running back specifically, probably?
Yeah, I mean, my first thought is it's just an unfortunate part of the game, right? I think we would all agree, whether you're doing it intentionally or you're not, whether it happens to you or you're just watching it in a stream, the fact that it's part of the game is a huge disservice to a community like ours, okay? I don't get the defensiveness of some people because it's not against the rules. There's nothing in the rule book against this, not even vaguely. And I'll say 2 things. There's this big debate of whether it happens automatically or if it is manually triggered, okay? And the answer is both. It very clearly happens automatically and incidentally. I have triggered a speed boost before on complete accident, and I don't know how I did it, okay? But at the same time, it's also triggered manually, and these guys are doing it manually. When they get the ball and they immediately cut the opposite direction of the run and they trigger that speed boost, come on. I played Damon last night, and he had this, like, he ran to the right, and he, like, literally turned around and ran the other way, and I was like, did he try to trigger a speed boost and screwed up? But as I played him more, Damon just doesn't do, I could tell he just doesn't trigger it purposely, but it was, I think he just didn't like the lane he was looking at. He lost like 5 yards. But anyways, I play guys who, like, they just zig and zag. Like, nobody runs left, right in a hole. Like, you're just trying to trigger that speed boost, and then when you trigger it, you're gone. So again, not against the rules, but these guys that say I don't know how it's happening are so full of it, because watch their games. They're just zigging and zagging, and they'll sell, oh, I've always been a shifty runner. Okay, yeah, get out of here. But again, it's not against the rules. It's an unfortunate part of Madden. Actually, I think it's one of the more game-breaking things that we've ever seen, personally. And there's no way, I don't think you can police it because it triggers accidentally. So how do you determine if it was on purpose or not? I just really, really, really hope for the sake and the state of the game and the league that it's not in Madden 27.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's at the level of escape artists or joystick that we've seen in the past, but for this year, it is quite annoying. It's one of the things that can help elevate somebody who is kind of average a little bit, making them above average, kind of like what Omniscient did last cycle. Towards the end of the cycle, you started noticing everybody in the NFC who made playoffs had Omniscient. And, it doesn't mean anything. Well, why does everybody have it? And why is everybody, all of a sudden, their offense is a lot better? So, like Matt said, just admit, hey, I do it. It happens. I'm going to throw in spin moves and diving inside the tackles on defense as kind of the same category. It's not against the rules. You can use them. I saw Tiny, I think, spun maybe 3 times in the matter of 1 yard against Prime. I think you've got to police yourself. I think you just have to be honest about it. You got to police yourself. If you're doing spin moves every single time you touch the ball, if you're doing dive through the tackles, if you're doing the speed burst, just police yourself. Because if you keep doing it, you're going to get a reputation. It might not be against the rules, but you are going to be laughed at, shamed, and you're going to be called out on it.
Yeah, I think to Dan's point, and it's a quote, you can literally Discord search it by me for the last several years. My phrase, most things are fine in moderation. And when it comes to speed boosting, I think that falls in that tier. I think the spin moves, like Dan mentioned, falls in that tier as well. For me, when I look at the speed boosting thing, I didn't really realize there's been some guys who've been doing this for 3, 4, 5 seasons. Because I look back at some of my playoff highlights, playoff wins, playoff losses, and games I've lost recently. And these things were happening to me, and I didn't even realize they were happening. I just didn't know. And I think now that it's more out in the forefront, I think Dan alluded to this a little bit ago. Me and Dan had a private conversation. I'm just going to share. I think this cycle, more than ever, when you have a good team to start or just the way the game plays, there wasn't a whole lot of avenues for average to above average players beat the great players. I do think that the speed boost thing is one of those things that can help level the playing field for the average players to sneak a win off in the playoffs against a good player. Because if they get a good blocking animation and they master that little, we're going to call feature / glitch, it really can. I mean, we've seen Dump run for 300 plus rushing yards against Davo in the playoffs, and I don't think Dump was being cheesy. His running back is like 97 change of direction, so I think he probably activates it automatically some. But it is something to keep an eye on, and I would like to see. There's no official rule on it, but I will say it would be nice if some people police themselves on it a little bit. Most things are fine in moderation.
Yeah, and what I'll say is yes, I agree. AJ's theory is that the certain players trigger it and blah blah blah. I had Saquon Barkley. Okay, this guy was 99 overall. He's a genetic freak, and he was a genetic freak in Madden. I didn't trigger it like these guys are triggering it. Yeah. Let's just please stop with, oh, it's my player and he has this and that. Stop, okay?
It's true. I don't think I had that much crazy speed boost with Gibbs either, honestly. I'd have to go back and look at, especially early seasons. But let's talk topic 4. Who are you guys spreading your love on? And Dan, we'll start you spreading it first.
Yeah, mine's easy because he's probably the hottest SML player in the league right now. That's QP. Oh. I know this, taking allegations and all this kind of stuff. Come on. I mean, it's week 17 and he had a rough season. Let the guy have a break. He has found his groove. His swagger's coming back. He probably has more chat messages in the last 10 days than he's had it over the last 6 weeks. So QP is back. He's ready to go. He's going to take the SML by storm. I think he plays Prime later this season. Is he on your schedule, Prime?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I'm going to guarantee a QP win.
Oh, right God.
He's playing that.
Oh, no.
Guaranteed a QP win. He is going to beat you because he is back. QP is back. Let's go.
Last time I played QP in a real game, I beat him this cycle, by the way. I beat him so bad in a playoff game that he retired 3 weeks later in real life because he didn't want to lose to me again. Genuinely, look at the chat messages. I owned that guy mentally.
Of course he's in chat. He's winning. You don't even need to sync Neon to find out how QP's game went. Is he in chat? Yes, he won. If he's not, he lost. It's really that simple. I'm going to share my love, though, with Mike. I actually think he's the hottest player in the SML because, well, he isn't returning to form after tanking. He's 4-0. What are we doing? How are we not talking about Mike FML here? He's 4-0. He plays Prime here in like 2.5 hours or so.
Oh, yeah, shoot.
If he wins that game, call it. The season's over. I already saw Divine Intervention in his game against Tiny, where he threw a 70-yard bomb to Alec Pierce. Match made in heaven, right? Alec Pierce, Mike, Colts, loves the guy. Hats off to Mike. He's playing great. And look, Mike he plays different. He plays a lot of man defense. And I think that is to his detriment a lot of the time. But it's paying off for him now, and he's 4-0, man. That's really impressive. MMX too. A little shout out to him. I'm also going to share the love with AJ. Boy, he's down bad. He lost Dexter Lawrence. I think he was losing him whether he retired or not. But he has the 32nd ranked rushing defense. How many teams are in the league? Yeah, that's dead last. He's just sitting his first for a defensive tackle. This guy is scrambling big time. He's, I think, in last place or third place in our division. He's struggling. No Dexter Lawrence has really changed the trajectory of his season. We'll see if the new one figures it out. And I will also share the love with QP. Not like Dan said, the evidence is very, very clear. But I've been hounding on him about the tanking thing. Yes, he tanked. No, it's not a smoking gun. No, he's not going to get penalized. There's nothing that obvious. But he obviously tanked. He's obviously taken it to heart. I think the league, and the league is better and it's best when QP is winning. He's a formidable foe in the AFC. He chats more when he's winning. He's got that bravado, that Hollister cologne that you mentioned, the flip flops, the robe. It just all comes out, right? And I've said my piece on this show about the tanking, and I'm going to leave it at that. The evidence is very, very clear. I said it. I'm going to leave it at that. QP is back, and the league is better when he is.
That's good, Matt. I got 2 items I want to share my love on. The first one, believe it or not, is Matt. And here's why. There's a lot of guys in this league that put a lot of preparation and studying into this game and into beating me specifically. And Matt did beat me, and a lot of you bums listening to this show have never had a chance to beat me. It never even came close, to be frank. But Matt did it, and you guys mocked Matt. And here's what I'll say. Do I agree with every game decision Matt makes? No, obviously. Do I think that Matt would be better if he would do certain things? Obviously, yes. But I will offer this counterpoint to the SML, because I've seen 90% of league members whine and complain, especially come June, especially come July, about seeing the same style. Every game it's trips. Every game it's inside zone. Oh, I hate to play this RPO, read flat, whatever. It's the same stuff every game. Har, har, har. Well, guess what? Then you get a guy like Matt who's against the grain, and maybe he does some weird stuff sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's a clean game. There's no YouTube stuff. It's different. It's a fresh perspective. It's a fresh view. It's a different game. So if we're going to waste the energy on complaining and whining about something, why don't we complain and whine about something that's actually detrimental to the league and cheesy and corny and breaking the league that's going to make us add different rules and from that perspective, instead of picking at a guy who, at the end of the day, he's good for the league. He's playing a clean game. It's just not that big of a deal. It's just not. That's all I have to say. Also, shout out to the NFC, 4-2. 4-2 right now in the cycle.
Thanks, Brian. They laughed when I said I was the biggest threat to you, and well, it's very clear that I am. Not to everyone, but to you.
Thank you.
They can't do what I do.
You can't be a threat if you don't make playoffs, so it's a mute point.
I'm still the threat. But
it's no threat. You've never been to playoffs. So you're like the guy that's sitting outside looking in the dance and say, I'm the best dancer out there, and you're not even invited to the dance. So until you get invited, I don't want to hear anything.
The guys that make the NFC playoffs aren't a threat either, even though they make the playoffs. They can't be.
Well, I mean I agree. That's a different topic, but make the playoffs, and then I'll start giving you some paying some attention to you.
Hey, Prime, before we get to the Map 5, how many wins does Dan have against you this cycle?
0.
Oh, okay, I thought he was a little biased.
That's all that matters. You're 0-0 against what games that matter against Prime. 0-0.
Let's go post.
You haven't even played one yet.
Binocular.
You haven't played one yet.
Let's
play a meaningful game.
Matt,
hey, Prime, if you were in the Super Bowl, who would you rather play, me or Dan?
Dan, 100%.
Oh, here we go.
Dan, 100%.
Here we go.
100% Dan. I mean, not even close.
Please,
Matt, what's your 5?
Don't bring stupid SML to stupid TNA or whatever.
TNA.
All right, Matt 5. A lot of talk in the SML about scheduling every single week since I've been here, but I thought I would do the top 5. Since the SML is basically chalk most of the time. Let's talk about the top 5 schedulers in the SML. Now, the criteria here is a little bit different. So availability, obviously. Responsiveness, do you actually respond to DMs? And how flexible are you? So a couple of guys that didn't make the list that I consider really good schedulers. AJ, great scheduler, great responsiveness, but he pretty much has AJ o'clock. He's really not playing you that early. You're not getting a 6 o'clock game from AJ. Mike FML, very good scheduler, but when he's clocked in, making that 18:25, he's a company man. You ain't getting him response until he's off work, okay? So at number 5, I've got Tiny. Tiny, very responsive, very, very good at navigating schedules. Also, a couple seasons ago, I gave Tiny my availability of all day, today and tomorrow, and he picked a time the next day at night, which would have made us the last game. I think he was at his son's basketball game. I said, okay, that's going to make us the last game. I can do it, but I will 100% throw you under the bus. No questions asked. And he messaged me that night when he got back from the basketball game and we played. So really appreciate that. Tiny's good to schedule with. Number 4, I've got Finn's. I actually forgot how easy Finn's is to schedule with until he came back. Finn, super responsive, super available, stays up late, will play you early. Plus, he's a teacher. He has some sort of break every other week, so that's always helpful. Number 3, I got Dan. Dan's always been a really good scheduler. Dan probably would be number 1, but I think his job provides a lot of flexibility. But I think his job is a lot like mine, not in what we do, but just in my job provides a lot of flexibility as well. But when my job needs me, it's 110%. I can't. There's nothing else is going on in my life. It's my job. So I like that with Dan. Sometimes he just strictly cannot play, but when he can, he's available at pretty much any time. Number 2, I got Prime. It's very simple. If you've ever scheduled a game with Prime, you're not playing it at that time. What you doing an hour earlier, if not a day earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But Prime's easy to schedule with. Straight shooter, very available. And number 1, I got Bomber. And this is not because Bomber doesn't have a job and he's retired. I actually have scheduled less with Bomber since he's been retired than when he had a job. But I've been in division with Bomber at least once, maybe twice. I've scheduled a lot with him. Even when he had a job, very responsive. He's very open like me, so we played at all kinds of different times. But there would be times where I would have to adjust my schedule to fit him in, but then he would adjust to fit me in. It was never a one-way street where, sorry, man, it's my way or the highway. I'm not going to bend to you. You're going to have to bend to me. So Bomber's my number 1 scheduler. I do think I'm a good scheduler, but I'm not the kind of person that puffs my chest. I'm not going to put myself on the list. But Bomber's number 1 with the caveat that even before he was retired, he would have been my number 1.
That was a good list, Matt. That was a good list, I think.
Good list, good. Real quick, Matt, who's your worst scheduler in the league?
That's a tough one. I'd say it's between Meats and Stavo.
Meats, Doink, or Stavo, top 3.
Okay.
Yeah, Doink's tough because he has a day he won't even play, so that can be kind of tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Guys, that's SML Total Access. 30 minutes. We had some words to say. I'll probably have to be issuing some apologies after the show. But anyway, I appreciate everybody for listening. If you listen this long, have a great weekend and good luck this season.